Thanks for joining us today on Cat Vlog. Today we're here with comedian Damon Darling. Thanks for being here.
You're welcome.
So we were actually just talking about being new to Springfield. He said that he's been here about a year and so have I. So where did you move to? Or move from?
Well, I moved from San Diego, but I'm from Urbana.
Okay.
Born and raised in Urbana. After high school, I moved to San Diego. I was in San Diego for about 9 years.
That's a big move.
Yeah. I had a culture shock,
I'm sure
initially.
you did.
Yeah.
My family's originally from California, and then we moved out here, and that was a culture shock.
Yeah. I bet. Yeah, it's like fast paced, so many different cultures, like backgrounds, big place.
A lot of lanes of traffic.
Yeah,
they
had like a bus
store.
system. Like I didn't even know how to work that because Urbana didn't have a bus system. Like they don't even have a cab service. So
it's expensive in San Diego.
Oh yeah, I was living in a 500 square foot apartment and I paid $1,045 just for the rent. That's not including utilities. You know what I'm saying? Groceries,
gas,
like recreation, car stuff. Yeah.
How much was beer out there?
Beer was a little more, but you can always afford beer, right? No, beer was a little more. I think the sales tax is higher.
Okay. So you were out in San Diego. Did you start becoming a comedian and doing all that out there?
Well, I've been funny my whole life.
Okay.
I've always wanted to do comedy, always. But I can also rap, like make music and stuff.
Okay. Do you do that here in the DYT?
No, I mean, I'll post videos every now and then of like some raps.
You don't do like gigs or anything?
No.
Would you ever consider like comedy rap?
Well, I do that.
Okay.
Yeah, I make videos. Like you can go on my Instagram or my YouTube and see all kind of videos, like funny raps and songs, but nothing serious. Yeah, so I do that, but I haven't like put on a show. Like I should get into that though.
I love going to rap shows.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think my last concert was 50 Cent.
Okay.
And Eminem.
Where was that at?
San Diego.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I like going to bar rap shows.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like Hole in the Wall. Yeah, like Underground. Yeah, that's dope. That's dope too. But yeah, so I spent about 9 years. Then I did a year in LA. Didn't really like LA.
No, why?
Because like I went there with like the thought of, man, I'm gonna be able to be around this person. I'm gonna be able to go hit this club. And then you get there and you realize if you don't know nobody, you aren't anybody. And you don't get to do anything that the people who are somebody get to do.
Okay.
So it's pretty much, you might as well just be in San Diego.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like in trying to...
Take your foot in the door and find
yeah,
that social
it's
ladder.
like so hard because everyone in that city is trying to be an actor, trying to be a singer, trying to be a rapper, trying to be a comedian. You know what I mean? Like, so... but yeah, then so because of financial reasons and things like that, I just decided, I made the decision to come back here.
You really can't beat the cost of living of Ohio.
Nah, you can't. It's like dirt cheap. Like you can work part-time at McDonald's and own a house. Like straight up.
Would you ever consider trying like New York?
I definitely want to like go visit New York.
Would you ever try like moving there the way you did with San Diego?
Not broke. But like if my money gets right, my paper gets right, then definitely heck yeah. For sure.
Was your first stand-up show in San Diego?
No, I did like mainly rap out there. I did rap shows out there, downtown San Diego. I did my first rap show in downtown San Diego was at a club called Onyx. You can Google it. Killed it. Yeah. But yeah, I was basically focusing on music when I was out there.
Okay.
And then when I came back here, I decided to start focusing on comedy.
So what was that aha moment, I'm going to do comedy?
I'm glad you asked me that. I actually, it's like it was split moments that made it the
Okay.
one, you know what I mean? Like the
I
one
want to know
feeling.
them all
Okay, so
in order.
I did my first stand up in Yellow Springs, the home of Dave Chappelle, and my favorite comedian, by the way. And
Where is Yellow
at the
Springs?
Spirited Go, it's a little
Okay.
coffee place
Yep.
like this, and they have an open mic every Thursday. And I went in there, I threw some jokes together real quick, like maybe the week before, and I was like nervous out of my mind. And there was probably like 15 people, and I went up there.
That's not a bad group.
Nah, that's awesome for an open mic. And I mean, because it's like a small.
How many of those 15 people were comedians performing at the open mic?
I was the only comic.
Really?
Yeah. And I still go in there from time to time and like do open mics, and to this day, I'm usually the only comic in there. It's more of like a music open mic, but they'll accept comics.
I think a lot of open mics tend to be, music and like acoustic guitar stuff. And
Right.
I like to see spoken word at an open mic and that kind of thing.
Yeah, spoken word's dope. But after that, I got all my jokes off. I didn't like kill it, but I got a couple laughs, and I remembered all my jokes and all that. And when I stepped off the stage, I was like the rush was so, like I loved it. I was like, this is definitely what I want to do. But I'd say the more of a aha moment, like you said, was when I did Liberty Funny Bone. And they like were laughing at everything I said, and my delivery was on point. And after the show, people were coming up to me, telling me how good I did. Like there was a dude that was recording my set. Like after a couple jokes, he just started recording. So I felt like he was like, "Oh, this dude's good."
Yeah.
So after that, man, I was just like, "I'm doing this. Like
Cool.
I'm all the way in."
How long ago was that?
Liberty?
Yeah.
This was like a couple months ago.
Really?
Yeah.
So you've been like legitimately at comedy like
Since December.
Since December. So under a year.
Yeah, under a year. And I've already like made probably more, and I don't want to sound arrogant, but I've made a lot more progress than most people in this amount of time. Like I already host my own open mic. I'm already like doing shows at big actual clubs, like real comedy clubs. I've met big name comics. They've given me their phone numbers.
Cool.
Tony Rock is letting me open for him next time he comes to Funny Bone.
So what do you think you owe credit to for your level of success at under a year?
My decision to get sober. I think that's what it boils down to.
Can I ask sober from what?
Alcohol.
Okay.
I just couldn't find a balance with alcohol, so I had to let it go. But now that I don't have that in my life, I'm able to do things that I just wasn't able to do before. Like I'm able to focus, to stick to things, to give it my all, to have a clear mind and actually be able to think.
Yeah.
With music, a lot of times drugs and alcohol go hand in hand with that, and you can end up making better music, but it can slow you down too.
Yeah.
As far as performing and things like that.
I'm sure there's something empowering about knowing that because you're sober, you can be everything that your potential can allow you to be.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that also gives you insight as to how much of a better life you have been able to give yourself.
Right. I just feel like there's nothing I can't do. Like, for real. Like, I'm never going to wake up like, oh man, I'm hungover. I don't feel like making a show. Or, oh, I'm so drunk, I can't even remember my jokes. You know what I mean? Like, because that happens to people. You know, they get so caught up in the party side of it that it fucks up everything else.
Do you think that do you think that like your favorite comedians are comedians who have gone through that struggle as well, and you like identify with that, or like who are your three favorite comedians?
Dave Chappelle, Tony Rock. I don't even know if I have a third. I'll have to put somebody in there. Let's come back to it.
Okay.
I don't want to force it.
So what was your most memorable moment so far as a comedian? Was it meeting somebody? Was it a particular gig? Was it working on a joke that was hard and then finally figuring it out?
It's a few of those things, but I'm gonna go ahead and go with this. It was when I saw Tony Rock perform, and he's so good, man. Like, you think Chris Rock is good? No, dude, Tony Rock, he is awesome.
I love Chris Rock's early stuff.
Because this is his younger brother.
Okay.
Yeah. But just everything. I don't know if it was because he's more like my style, or because I saw some of me in him, or what. But I just felt like his jokes were perfect. Like the way he moves around the stage, his delivery, the way he engages with the crowd, because his crowd work is amazing.
Yeah?
Yeah, like so many comics will come out and do crowd work, and it'll seem like freestyle, like off the top and natural. But then when they do their next set, because I watch all 6 shows every weekend, and they'll come out and they'll do the same joke. They just form them a way to where it works on any crowd, and then you kind of like you don't really like lose respect for them, but you're kind of like, I'm not that impressed anymore. But with Tony Rock, every crowd, it was different jokes.
Oh.
It was different stuff that he would use, and it was just like, yo, this dude is the real deal.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That's really impressive.
And that was
How long
awesome.
are those sets? Those hour-long sets?
He went at least, I think he went a little over an hour.
Okay.
Each time. Yeah. Most comics will do like 40 minutes.
Yeah.
But the real good ones, they'll go over an hour. You know? So.
How long ago did you see Tony Rock?
I don't know how long. It's been a while. It's been probably a couple months.
So what about yourself? Like, what would you say is your overall goal as a comedian?
I just want to be, financial. I want to be financially stable. That's a part of it.
You want like 100% of your income to come from comedy?
Yes.
Yes.
But ultimately, the dream is just to be known worldwide as one of the funniest guys to ever do it. Like, that would be the dream.
That's a big goal.
I would be content with just being able to make it my 9 to 5.
Okay.
Like, be able to cover all my bills.
Now, comedian hours
Right.
there's a lot of nights and weekends, right?
It is. It's a lot of nights.
That's a sacrifice.
It is. Traveling, which I'm actually looking forward to, because I like to travel, and I don't like getting complacent. Like, I don't like being in one spot for too long. Like, I'm antsy. So I'm looking forward to the traveling part of it. But it is a sacrifice, because you got family and, friends, things like that. But I'm willing to do it.
So your goal is to become a great.
Yes.
Well,
I think that's every comic's goal.
So when thinking about your time and how you manage your time, because you work a job and then you work comedy, right? What is it really like to be a comedian as far as time is concerned?
Well, in the stage that I'm in right now, which is like pretty much like the beginning, like getting going and getting my name out there and stuff, it takes up a lot of time.
How much time a week do you think you put into writing jokes, rehearsing, and gigs?
I'm writing jokes all the time, even like when I'm at work, because jokes come Like they just come in my head.
Yeah.
And
Do you
I'll
keep
drop.
like a little notebook?
I keep my
on you?
phone on
Okay.
my notes on my phone, so I'll drop everything, and I'll just.
Yeah.
I have to like take note of it because if I don't, I may or may not remember it. More than likely, I'm not going to remember it, and then I just missed out on the gym. So it can get kind of out of control sometimes, especially at home, like with my girl and stuff, because she hates my phone.
Oh no.
Like literally, I do have a problem, but it's like I'm trying to do something here.
Right.
So, it's balance, man. You got to try to have balance, and I'm trying. But it's
Hashtag
hard.
Balance Awareness Week.
Yeah. So I think what that hashtag basically saying is like you got to balance.
Yeah.
You got to have balance with everything, with work, with gym time, with school time, with even like with your mate,
Yeah.
you time.
Yeah.
Like everything
Yeah.
just has to be balanced. You can't go overboard with any of them, or it's going to throw everything off.
So, was there a point when you realized that you were overworking on comedy?
Yeah.
And it was.
Yeah, and now what I do is, like I just did a couple mics these past couple days. I've came up with some new jokes and stuff. So what I'll probably do, well, what I would have done today was not focused on comedy at all.
Okay.
I would have put everything, I would have gave all I had to try not to do anything and just try to chill, hang out with my son, like watch a movie, like maybe see what a friend's doing. Just have a day where I'm just like, where I'm just Damon.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then pick it back up tomorrow.
So.
Because you got to have those days.
Yeah, for that balance, right?
And it actually works better for me. Like I become better when I do that. Like when I was just doing comedy, it was kind of becoming stressful and not really fun because I was just trying so hard. But now it's like I'll take a day off, I'll come back to it the next day, and like I'm doing better. Like jokes are flowing better. Like I'm remembering stuff. I'm like, man, how am I gonna remember? So I didn't even study yesterday.
Yeah.
It's because you're giving yourself
brain
that
rest?
break.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta have balance. Balance.
Where do you
Balance. Hashtag.
Where do you find that balance?
You just gotta be disciplined. You gotta make yourself be balanced. I mean, there's people out there that are like, nah, I gotta work. But eventually, like that kind of person is gonna burn out eventually.
Yeah, I deal with that a lot. I'm a workaholic by nature, and so I will go, and then crash.
Yeah.
And then go, and then crash.
Yeah.
But sometimes I'm okay because that crash like forces me to take that self-time
Yeah.
and whatnot. And if I gotta learn that lesson the hard way, then I guess that's just what.
I mean, everybody's
what's gonna
different.
be.
I'm not trying to judge anybody, but I guess for me, that's what it is. Like, cause my body will tell me, like, okay, like I'll get stressed, and I'll start getting like anxious, and like, you know what I mean? And I'm like, okay, my body's telling me like,
Take a break.
chill,
Yep.
or something bad is gonna happen. Like last week, I went on stage, and I forgot one of my jokes. Like my mind just went blank. Remember?
Yep.
You were there.
I was there.
And
You pulled it off really well.
yeah, and that's why though, because I was going too hard, and I didn't take a break.
Yeah.
Like it had been a few days that I was just.
I remember you making, I like your car rants. So if you follow Damon on Facebook, one of the things that he does is he does these car rants. And I remember the next day you made a rant
About it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a new thing I'm experimenting with, because I recently stopped doing my podcast with a buddy because it was just too much on my plate.
I like the car rants. I always like a video that's done in the car because the audio is always really good and the lighting is always really good.
Yeah, I noticed that
and
too.
I think it gives you the privacy to like really speak your mind.
Yeah.
And I love that because everything in your feed is like comedy.
Yeah.
And so it gives me some insight to you. It allows me to see you as a person.
Yeah.
And I love that. It humanizes you.
And I try to dish it out in different ways. Like, you might not like my skits, but you might like my music videos. You might not like my music videos, but you might like my car rants.
Yeah.
You might not like any of my stuff online, but you like my stand-up. You know what I mean? So I try not to put all my eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
And that's what I tell all the comics around me. Like, you guys got to do more than just stand-up. We live in a time where social media exists, and most people don't leave the house. So how do you reach those people?
Yeah.
Social media.
Yeah.
So
let's get to know you personally a little bit better.
Hashtag breast cancer awareness.
Yeah, pink straw. Family. Do you have any siblings?
Yeah, I have 4 brothers.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a big family.
Yeah, I got a twin brother. My younger brothers are twins, and I have an older brother that's just regular.
Okay. Gosh, I can't imagine having twins twice.
Yeah, we have different dads, but
Wow.
Same
I mean,
mom.
yeah, for that, like for your mom to go through a pregnancy
Yeah.
with twins twice.
and you think I'm tall? They're 6'5".
Wow.
Yeah.
They play like duo volleyball.
They played basketball. I like how you jumped to volleyball. Like, yeah. What if you were right though? Yeah, they were all state.
Knew it.
Yeah. They wore the shorts and everything. Nice butts.
What's it like having a twin? Are you guys
for
like
me,
super synced?
Nah, for me it's nothing special, man. Cause we're not close.
Okay.
We never have been. We always fought growing up. He's the complete opposite of me.
Okay.
He's a model.
Okay.
He like legit models for like brands, and like they send him clothing and everything. And he's gay.
Okay.
And yeah, we're just different.
I have 2 friends who are twins, and one's heterosexual and one's homosexual.
Yeah.
And
I wasn't sure how to say that. But, I mean, I don't have anything against them.
Sure.
Like, the one thing we do have in common is our sense of humor. Like, we
Okay.
can crack a couple jokes, laugh, but then I gotta get the hell away from him because we're gonna end up fighting.
do you have that like twin spidey sense? Like, can you tell when he's like landing a funny joke? Or like when he's
No,
hurt?
I can
Right.
tell, like, if we're watching something, and something's subtly funny to me, I know it's funny to him.
Okay.
Like, I'll look at him like, and he'll be like, yeah, nah. Oh, my bad.
No, you're fine.
Yeah.
So do all of your siblings live here in Ohio?
Mm-mm.
No.
I'm the only one in Ohio.
Okay.
My oldest brother's a
The whole
military.
country's blessed with darlings.
Kinda, yeah.
Across the
Kinda,
board?
yeah. Yeah, and none of us are felons. We've never been, in trouble.
I don't know how we got there, but okay.
That says a lot, man. I mean, because my mom raised us all by herself.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times, a family like that, all boys,
Yeah.
they can end up in trouble
Yeah.
without a father there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why I said that.
Yeah, I'm sure your mom was like working a lot,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, we were we would have to go to a babysitter a lot of the time. Then as we got older, she kind of let us stay by herself at the house.
I remember you saying on stage that your mom got registered as a nurse while raising you.
Yeah, she did.
And
She went to school.
that is impressive. Talking about girl power.
I don't even know how she did it. Like, to this day, like, I couldn't even finish school, like, before I had kids. When I was just by myself, no girlfriend, nothing,
Yeah.
living at her house on the couch. I was going to a community college in San Diego and couldn't finish. You know what I mean? She wasn't charging me rent. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that just shows you what
Yeah.
type of person she is. Like, she's a different
Like
breed.
hero status.
Yeah, I can't. Makes me angry. I'm like, how? I'm convinced she cheated. No.
Oh no, all those poor people. So one of the things that you told me about yourself is that you are able to run 5 miles in 45 minutes.
Yeah.
I feel like that makes you a running enthusiast.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I haven't ran consistently in a while,
Okay.
but I do love to run. It's like my medicine. Because the doctor tried to give me something for anxiety when I first came off of my alcohol and stuff. And I chose to run instead. So, and it just, whenever I get anxious, I run.
Okay.
And it works.
Okay.
And like,
can we pause?
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
oh, that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Can you ask the question again?
So
Running.
running. Yeah. You say that you run when you get anxious.
Anxious.
Yeah.
It helps with my anxiety and calms my nerves. Like before, like if I have a show that night, like if I don't run, you're going to see the difference.
You live here in Springfield?
Uh-huh.
Do you go running outside,
Yeah.
like around the neighborhoods and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I ran all last winter and the winter before that.
Wow.
Yeah, like in snow and everything. I go on the bike trail normally.
That's intense because that cold air, that's a whole nother
Like
animal.
I'll bundle up so I can like try to sweat, but just throw my headphones on and go. I'm like Forrest Gump.
Yeah, I think they call it the Forrest Gump effect.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
I can't explain it because I couldn't even get my buddies, none of them to go. Like, they're like, heck no.
I know a lot of people who hate running.
Yeah, my girlfriend was doing it with me when we first started dating.
Yeah.
And she kept up with me too in the beginning.
How tall is she? She's quite a bit
short.
shorter than you. Yeah.
She's short, like 5'5" probably.
So that's like even extra work on her part to keep up with your
yeah.
stride.
Yeah, she would keep up. But yeah, I love to run.
You've also worked at a prison.
Yeah, I worked at a prison.
So I love the music here.
Yeah, it goes well.
I love the Killers. I was really hoping they would be at Riot Fest. I guess they kind of don't fit in the Riot, but neither did some of those other artists anyway. Yeah. Okay, so what is it like to work at a prison?
Terrifying.
Is it?
Yeah.
You said
I
a level
went in-
3 prison. What does that mean?
I'm pretty sure the highest is a 5, like max,
Okay.
or super max or whatever is level 5. These guys, I worked at the London one. And,
Oh, okay.
For a long time,
Like I know it. I've
right.
been there.
Well, for a long time, all they had was level 1 and level 2 offenders, and those guys are usually pretty safe. It's usually non-violent offenses. They're all getting out soon. They're doing like short bids, so normally they don't want to start any trouble because they don't want to be in there any longer than they have to.
Yeah.
They can free roam on the yard. They got TVs, pool tables, all kind of stuff. While the level 3 is where they started getting level 3s, and this is where they put all the new COs, which was me. I
Okay.
was a new guy, so they put me in one of the toughest units, and these guys were actually level 4s getting a chance to be level 3s. So, I had lifers, murderers, child molesters, rapists, that I was dealing with, and you could look up all their cases. And it was just a nightmare, man. Like some of the stuff I seen, and just worrying about getting out of there without any drama sometimes. And
For working in an environment like that, what was your compensation like? Do you feel like it was worth it for those who could handle being in that environment for
no,
40
it
hours
wasn't
a week?
worth it. It
No?
was a little over $18 an hour starting out. Now once you max out, it's a lot more worth it because you can end up making like 30.
Yeah.
But I did it for the money, and it just it wasn't worth it. Because even on my days off, when I did have a pocket full of money, and I was like, let's go do something, I was like dreading going back. My whole day off, all I could think about was like, man, I gotta go back.
Yeah.
And you're just worrying about crap that's going on in there. And my blood pressure was through the roof. It just wasn't worth it.
What do you think you took away from that experience?
That it's not for me.
Okay.
Now I know.
Don't go to jail?
No, I just feel like I learned a lot as far as the justice system. I don't feel like the prison system is corrupt.
Oh, yeah.
Super corrupt.
I think
I mean, if you've
a lot of people are
seen how
aware
some of
of that.
these murderers and rapists are living in there, you'd be pissed. It's not. You wouldn't look at it and say that's justice. I mean, these guys have flat screen TVs. They got all the snacks and food they can eat. They got
Video games?
like not tablets.
Oh, okay.
They got MP3 players for music. They got what's called a JPay, where they can go and access all the music we can access on iTunes. They can buy it off there.
So that's
They can buy
interesting.
shoes, like name brand shoes, Nikes, Timbs. You know, they can have their hair any old kind of way they want. They pretty much have everything we have. They can get drugs. They can get anything we can get except women. And they can even get women, like, because female COs would get fired all the time for falling in love with an inmate,
Wow.
and hooking up with them. Or then you got females in the kitchen that are doing stuff with them. Like, I mean, I hate to say it, but there's just really no justice.
That's intense.
You know what I mean?
We should talk about that more later.
And that used to frustrate the hell out of me. It's hard to sit back and watch.
Have you ever? Oh. Okay. I'm not gonna word it like that.
What? Have you ever?
That's the game we're playing next. Is have you ever?
Oh, yeah.
No. Okay. So when I asked you, give me 10 facts about yourself, something that you offered up was that you have been divorced twice.
Mm-hmm.
And so I felt like that was a very personal thing to put on the table. So I wanted to talk about that with
Mm-hmm.
you, and like, what are your takes on failed relationships, or what did you take away from those experiences? We're gonna dive in deep.
Well, I I was raised a Jehovah's Witness.
That was the next thing. Yeah. So let's start.
That ties
there.
into it.
Okay.
That's a lot of the reason.
Okay. So does that mean that you were married young within the church? And okay.
They beat into your heads, how wrong fornication is,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
and how it's better to marry than to sin. Like, they go over this so much.
Okay.
And
They
they're-
have the garments, right? When you're like a teenager or something, and that's not Jehovah's Witness. Who is that?
I don't know.
Mormons. I think it's the Mormons.
Maybe Mormon. But I was just real paranoid and pretty much just afraid of. It's going to sound sad, but I was pretty much afraid of God.
Okay.
So I pretty much rushed into marriages to please Him, so that I wouldn't be sinning.
How does the Jehovah's Witness feel about divorce?
Bad. They feel wrong about that too, except under if one of them commits adultery, then it's okay. It's not wrong then. And the second time, I was cheated on, and she was putting me through hell. So once I found that out, I was gone.
Yeah.
Like, this is my way out. I'm out. And the first time, it was, we should have never even been married. Like, I married her, like I said, because I didn't want to.
Cultural reasons?
Yeah, I didn't want to be having sex, not married.
Yeah.
And I was having sex with her.
When you were
so
married the first time?
I was 23.
Okay.
And, yeah.
So what do you think you took away from those experiences? What life lessons? There had to have been life lessons there.
Oh, yeah. Basically that we're all imperfect, and I can't be like brother so-and-so, and I can only be Damon. And I have different weaknesses than brother so-and-so. And God, at the end of the day, is going to understand that when He calls me into judgment. You know what I mean? Like, if somebody's like, well, I was married and Damon wasn't, how'd he get into heaven? Well, God's going to be like, yeah, but he had this weakness and this weakness, and you didn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think He understands the difference between someone deliberately and maliciously doing things because they
Selfishly
just
doing
just because they want to and
Yeah.
they can, and someone who really putting forth an effort but still failing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's basically what I took from it. I just feel like he'll understand.
Okay.
And I can't do something just to make him happy if I can't do it. Does that make sense? You know what I mean? Because then I'm just going to hurt more people. I'm not only going to hurt him, I hurt her from that. You know what I mean? Like, she's going to be affected. Then if you have kids, like, they're going to be affected. So you got to think about all that. Like, yeah, I want to marry this person to make God happy, and I don't want to be out here sleeping around. But if I'm not going to be able to stick through it and make it last, then I just let all these people down and God and wasted everybody's time. Like, which is worse? You know what I mean?
Do you think you got self-acceptance out of that?
I felt out of marrying? Or
out of realizing that part of the reason for divorce was because of personal flaws. Did that help you accept your personal flaws? And therefore you were no longer afraid of God's judgment in the way that you were before?
Oh, yeah. Because I realized it was out of my control. So he has to understand. You know what I mean? Like, I can't do it. You know what I mean? Like, so.
Do you still consider yourself a Jehovah's Witness?
No.
Does your family, are they cool with that?
They're not. They never. I was the only one out of my brothers that stuck with it into adulthood.
Okay.
Me and my mom.
Uh-huh.
And now she doesn't even practice it either.
Oh, okay.
So, no, they don't care.
Okay, that's good. I've known
Yeah.
some people who are like disowned by their
Oh,
family.
yeah, especially with that. Yeah, you will be.
Yeah.
They won't even speak to you. Like, there was a period where my mom didn't speak to me because I was disfellowship. And it's a tough, like, they don't play. They're
Yeah.
really strict about what the Bible says and applying it.
Do you think you take your experience in growing up under that environment into your comedy act? You know, a lot of comedians are working through things while making jokes about them.
I don't think I'm to a point where I'm comfortable making jokes about God just yet.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
How do you feel about comedians that do?
That's
their
them.
thing?
Yeah, they got to deal with that. You know what I mean? And I've even laughed, but as far as coming out of my mouth, me saying it, I'm not saying it's not gonna happen,
Yeah.
but I'm not there yet. I don't feel comfortable yet doing it.
Okay. So, have you ever put yourself out of your comfort zone to go into new material?
As far as, what do you mean?
Because, you know, because there are things that are easy for people to joke about, and then things, I'm sure, like as your wheels are turning, you know, jokes come up to you, but is that appropriate? Is that appropriate for you? Would you be comfortable bringing up that subject on stage?
I think I've touched on, I'm not shy at all, and I touch on very personal things, so I think the only thing left for me to touch on is the religion thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I talk about...
You do.
Yeah.
You talk about some very intimate things, and it's like,
And I'm not afraid to
were you
go
always
there.
comfortable talking about that? Did you like go into your first like 5 sets talking about, you know, like raunchy things?
I'm
And
trying to think my first... Yeah, I
gives you
did.
time because that's gone.
I did. I actually talked about how attracted I was. Do you want me to wait?
Yeah. Okay.
I actually... Are you going to ask me again? Or
Yeah, ask again.
raunchy things?
So when it comes to like your subject being like raunchy jokes, were you always comfortable in talking about that subject matter, or was that like uncomfortable for you at first?
Nah, I've always been comfortable. Like, I've always been the guy oh, Damon will do it.
Okay.
Or have Damon say it. Like, I've always been that guy since a kid. I'll go say anything to anybody. I remember my first set that I was telling you about, I talked about how much I liked my girlfriend's pregnant nipples. So much so that I got her pregnant again just so I could see those nipples. And I didn't really get her pregnant again, but it was a joke.
Right.
But it was true. I really was. I liked, like, they were darker and bigger, and for some reason I was attracted to that. And I touched on that. And
Did that make her uncomfortable? Did
she was uncomfortable.
She was uncomfortable.
But she gave me the go ahead.
Okay.
She would be in the audience most of the time when I would tell that joke, and she'd probably be cringing, but
Okay.
she'd be like, "Oh my God, I was so embarrassed when you do that joke." I'm like, "I'm sorry."
I was
I'm like, "This is
wondering,
my
like,
truth. This is my truth. I can't censor my comedy."
Has your mom ever seen your sets?
Yes.
Yeah.
She sent me a couple texts like, "Damon, do you have any clean jokes? Can you say something? Can you not talk about vagina? Or your wiener?"
But like,
And I'll
overall,
notice
she's cool
because
with it?
she won't like the post sometimes. No, she's totally supports me.
Okay.
Which is funny because if she was still a Jehovah's Witness, she would never support me.
Yeah.
Not even just because of the jokes, just for the fact that I'm out being a comedian in the world. Like, she wouldn't support that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is that one of those things that, like, because you're in the church, they prefer for you to, like,
Well,
go
they-
be certain occupations?
Yeah, especially with Jehovah's Witnesses, they separate themselves from the world.
Uh-huh.
They want no part of the world.
They don't celebrate holidays? Is that the one?
No,
Yeah, no holidays.
they don't want to chase like money or fame or any, like, they don't feel like that stuff's important.
Did you ever do any missionary work as a Jehovah's Witness?
They do have missionary work, but they have what's called pioneering,
Okay.
and that's where you basically devote all your time preaching. And I did that.
Oh.
I mean, I was a minister.
You
and
spoke in front of a congregation?
Yeah, and I would speak in front of the congregation, and I would conduct Bible studies and teach people. I mean, I was all the way in.
Cool.
Like, it's actually hard still for me because it's all I ever knew as far as God.
Yeah.
So now when I think God, I think that. I'm trying to transition into just having a relationship with God and not with the church.
Yeah.
And it's difficult.
Do you think living in the comedy world and being around all the different kinds of people who are also in that social group with you, does that give you light into other perspectives that like get you thinking about stuff?
Yeah.
Have you ever had any aha moments there? Like somebody said something and it
Oh yeah, all the time.
really?
Yeah. Like, even when I know they're just joking, it's like, yo, that's kind of true. Like, yeah, I just think most people are falling away from religion because, you know, they just use fear to control you. They take all your money and then they don't invest it, put it back in the community, and you just kind of start wondering, like, why do you need all this money? Like, what are you doing with it?
Do you think those people, do you think they make their own community in other ways? They go into backing charity, or they do like charity shows, or they help out their friends, or do you think people are like just becoming more selfish, self-protecting?
I'm sure some religions do. I just know, you know, I gave when I could. I was never a big giver because I never had a lot of money. But, you know, then you get into a financial bind and nobody's there for you. You know what I mean? And you're kind of like, well, you guys are sitting on all this money. Like, why don't you help the people struggling in your congregation?
Are you one of those people who like puts up a charity for your birthday on Facebook?
No.
No.
No. Nope.
When is your birthday?
January 28th.
So that
Sorry. Sorry.
What, J. Cole?
Yup.
Yeah. I get that all the time. Yeah.
so that makes you an Aquarius?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a weirdo.
Okay. So we're like best friends. My best friend is an Aquarius.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
we'll become best friends.
Awesome.
Sweet. thanks for tuning in today for Cat Vlogs with our hashtag Cat Chat. Thank you again to our guest, Damon Darling. And we will see you on Wednesday for our Wednesday Walk with Winans.
Looking forward to that.